In just a moment, the Indiana Broadcasting Network and Froggy's Pickles present Biographies in Sound. This week, adventuring heiress Aimée Crocker. But first...
News of the world! The latest news direct from the European war capitals.
I'm Pelt Hughes Fulbright.
And I'm Snappy Malone.
With live, lifelike sound to dazzle your senses, bringing you face-to-face with occurrences from around the globe, provided by the newest member of our staff, Foley artist Bugsy Weber.
Just another exciting feature of News of the World!
Yes, as America's favorite and most trusted news program, we strive for excellence and innovation.
Which is why we went against the wishes of our producers and sponsors to bring you an element our shareholders deemed unnecessary and in poor taste for a news program.
For the purpose of demonstration, let us delay no further. Bugsy, sir.
News for the week of February 10th, 1941. Pandemonium today in Ann Arbor as 24 wild horses escaped the local rodeo and stampeded downtown. Wonderful, Bugsy. It's like I'm there.
And in the latest from the BBC, the Royal Air Force has destroyed 2 vital German supply ships off the coast of Norway.
At Oxford University this week, the first human patient received an injection of the antibiotic penicillin with wondrous results. The world waits with bated breath in the hopes that this remarkable achievement will soon be put to work, saving countless lives.
That was News of the World. And now, Biographies in Sound. Today, we pay tribute to explorer and provocatress Aimée Crocker, who died last week at the age of 78. And now, a moment of silence as we honor her with a live rendition of Taps.
A polarizing figure, Crocker spent her early adulthood jet-setting round the globe with a $1 million fortune inherited at age 11.
Crocker practiced the mystic arts, wrote poetry, collected tattoos upon her person, funded artists, and won the hearts of 5 husbands.
Or 12, depending who's counting.
And in 1887, Aimée took off in an aeroplane to explore the Far East.
Just hear that jet engine purr.
In sunny Honolulu, Miss Crocker adapted to local culture, learning the hula hula and dressing as a native.
Missionaries on site declared her carnal and filthy. To this, her only reply was,
"Well, if by refusing to snub and patronize the natives I did them harm, I wonder how these good commercial men of God will answer one day for the land they took away from them."
Hawaiian King Kalakaua was so enchanted by Ms. Crocker that he gave her an island and crowned her an American princess.
To wild applause.
From Hawaii, Crocker traveled solo further west by ocean liner,
By train.
by dirigible,
In China, she rescued a young woman from an unsavory house of ill repute, only to be held prisoner herself by a local warlord.
The villain reportedly forced Crocker to witness an execution. In the dead of night, she escaped his clutches, barely, and was discovered unconscious at a nearby expat club.
She survived a poisoning in Hong Kong.
Headhunters in Borneo.
Knife-throwing assassins in Shanghai.
Of course, some of this is hearsay.
Oh, I believe every word of it. And she studied at the heels of the great yogin Bojaveda in India.
And at last, Aimée Crocker returned to New York City in the US of A. But would the Big Apple be ready for her?
We'll take a look at Ms. Crocker's later life stateside in part 2 of Biographies in Sound.
Isn't Bugsy here doing a great job? Money well spent. And now, a word from our sponsor.
Say, Scooter, how's your tummy? Teacher says you had to miss school on account of something you ate not agreeing with you.
Yeah, I sure feel lousy.
What are your symptoms?
Well, I'm tired, sweaty, and boy, I got the chills.
What a shame.
My ma has me drinking that Dr. Shelby Swamp Root Sarsaparilla.
That pink stuff? Yuck. Well, when I'm feeling sick, my pappy has me eat a whole jar of Froggy's pickles.
Froggy's pickles?
Yeah, those spicy cukes will slap the chills right off you.
They make you run through fire, eat a whole tire, make you want to run through chicken wire. Hottest peppers in the land, melt right through your granny's hand.
These cucumbers were hand-plucked in Indiana's finest soil, slathered and soaked in hot vinegar 6 months in the summer sun, aged in a bourbon barrel in a barn in Breathitt County. Grannies all over the country claim it cures the common cold. Granny ain't wrong.
And it's sure gonna make you right.
They make you hop, drop, and they make you croak.
Ribbit. Right. Welcome to part 2 of Biographies in Sound.
And now a look at the life of controversial debutante and world traveler Aimée Crocker.
After her cultural explorations of the Far East, Crocker returned to New York, where she shocked and intrigued contemporaries with her progressive attitudes toward gender roles and her vocal disdain for racial prejudice.
She founded the city's first Buddhist colony, and there she met her next husband, Jackson Gourod, writer of popular songs like He's My Soft-Shell Crab on Toast. Everyone knows it, of course, but here's a sample of that song. Love that tune.
By now, Aimée was a fixture of American tabloids. Dubbed the entertainer of entertainers, she regularly hosted lavish parties in her expansive abode.
Many of these soirees were full of shrieks and screams at the sight of her beloved pet boa constrictor, Kaa.
Kaa was often the guest of honor, draped around Aimée's neck and tattooed on her person. At her fellow's dubious fear of the snake, she often replied,
Puff.
What was that?
Why? He's as gentle as a powder puff.
Oh. These affairs often featured performers from around the world.
Rain or shine, Aimée threw these impressive get-togethers of the rich and famous, of artists and thinkers, once even during a dangerous thunderstorm.
The so-called Queen of Bohemia even played herself on Broadway in the vaudeville revue simply titled Hell. Appalled audiences booed and hissed throughout the performance.
Later, Miss Crocker's Eastern-inspired mansion burned to the ground.
Then her prize-winning French bulldogs were mysteriously poisoned. Still, Aimée pressed on.
She continued to share art and culture from all around Mother Earth with her forward-thinking friends, friends like Oscar Wilde, and so forth.
After the death of husband Gourod, Aimée moved to an artist colony in Paris and published a memoir based on her travels. She called it,
And I Do It Again.
And last week, on February 7th, 1941, Ms. Aimée Crocker passed away at the age of 78 of complications due to pneumonia.
But what a life it's been. We leave you now with some words from Aimée herself.
My only regrets are for things I have not done and for the experiences I have not had. Also for the people I have not known. I believe absolutely that living in the completest sense of that word, discovering the full beauty of living and plunging oneself utterly into human beings that swarm through this life is a pure art. I have been accused of living adventurously. I have nothing to be ashamed of, in spite of the scandalous press reports that hopeful reporters manage to use to amuse a scandal-loving public. And if I dared to stick my nose into trouble just because the game was fun, does it make me brazen? No, I will not apologize. And if I could live it again, this very long life of mine, I would love to do so. And the only difference would be that I would try to crowd in still more. More places, more things, more women, more men, more love, more excitement. Let the Mrs. Grundys arch their eyebrows and reach for their smelling salts.
Well spoken. Let us all resolve to explore the uncharted horizons which await us.
Sally forth, listeners. And now, enjoy the soothing sounds of the ocean as we prepare our next segment.
How calming. This has been Biographies in Sound, brought to you by Froggy's Pickles. Granny ain't wrong, and it's sure gonna make you right. Signing off, I am Pelt Hughes Fulbright.
And I'm Snappy Malone.
Enjoy your morning.
And now, let us embrace the unknown.
IBN.